Gonna rename this data setup. Go here. As we know, our custom actions can be found here. Add hero. Which hero should we add? Let's add a SCV. SCV is also always heroic. Value. SCV. Spawn effect. Here we have a preset, so we can simply set it to basic, for instance. Color, the color I want on my text. Let's make it orange. Pretty color. I'm gonna copy this line and then add a drone. Unit type drone. Run in left, and let's have a different color. Let's make it brownish. It might not show up so well. Let's make it bright yellow. Then we're gonna add a probe. And actually I might just you know what, I'll just do this between tutorials. You can see how it's done. I mean, it's easy enough. So instead of you sitting here watching me adding 20 values to the system or 10 values to the system, I'm just gonna do this in between this data setup tutorial and the next tutorial, which is gonna be the creation of the UI itself. So you don't have to watch this. But we're gonna need a second system here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna duplicate my hero library, the entire folder, everything in it. I'm gonna rename it unit library. I'm very imaginative today. So just go here and rename to unit. It's basically gonna be the same thing. But I want to show how to use two different systems. See, all the references are already set to unit, which is brilliant because all I really need to do is go in here and do... It's already set to use the unit library and everything, so I don't really need to do anything here. I just need to rename the functions and I'm done. Everything else should be working with a straight copy. Here's something not working. Sometimes when you copy stuff like this, if you have remember? Get spawn effect. Spawn effect. Sometimes these things break a bit. It can happen. So you should double check, but in general I didn't really have to change anything or update anything. If you have more complicated code and you use a lot of records and stuff, you might have to do some index fixing and stuff, but you'll figure that out. So I hit save just to see that everything compiles, and it does. So now I have a unit library and a hero library. Might as well just put it straight in here. Alright, I guess that sums up this first part. Hopefully you'll understand better how records work. I'll go through it once again, just in case. Presets are basically just a bunch of options you can use. Actually, each thing in a preset just represents a number. The first element here is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. The reason it's nice is because remembering what a single number means is, well, it's complicated. If I make this map now and I come back in 5 months or 2 weeks, and I have instead of having the spawn effect preset, this was just an integer that I passed in, which was 0, 1, or 2. I would never remember what this was without looking through all my code. But because I have a preset instead, it's very easy for myself and other people to see what each element does. It makes it a lot easier to keep track of your code. It isn't necessary to use them. You could just use a number, but it just makes your life easier. Records as well. You could duplicate the effect of a record by just adding the variables out here. I could add 4 arrays here. one for each of these values. But of course it's a pain, because if I want to adjust the array length, I would have to go and adjust every single array. And in addition, when I go into my set list here, if we go to a set variable statement here, double click here, I would have a lot more. I would have 4 more or 3 more listings here, and then as I keep adding, I would get more and more. Well, would get 3 for this one, since obviously I wouldn't have this original array, and I would get 3 for this one, so that's already 6 more, and then 1 additional for this one, and so on. So records is just a way of bunching up your variables, so that you can keep better track of your map and group them together, which makes it easier to organize your map, so to say. So if you're going to store settings, for instance, use a record instead of using lots of global variables. Just use a record and then use one single variable to access the record. It makes your map so much cleaner. Alright, that's it for this time, or for this part. I'm going to stop this now, and I'm going to add the heroes and the units, and I'll be back in the next part to start coding the UI.